Hello friends, it's Charlene with Charlene's Heartfelt Creations. Today I wanted to show you how to make hidden paper clips using book pages and scraps. And so this was a lot of fun. I had some scraps left over from when I did my Sesame Street Polaroids, and they were just too cute to not use. This is actually paper from a tablecloth on one of the pages that I was just going to throw away, and so I thought that would be really cute to use. I made a mistake using just the paper and not lining it with more of a cardstock. And so my next one, I used a heavier piece of paper, cardstock, and went ahead and did my hidden paper clip inside of this and then put my scrap on here to decorate. I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's so cute. And like I said, that was just an extra piece from one of my Polaroids. It's too small, too narrow to be a Polaroid, but I didn't want to get rid of it. It was just so cute. And then I used some Tim Holtz stickers. There is beauty in simplicity. And these little beads here, I got from Ollie's, and I showed you those in a previous haul. Okay, so I had a bunch of scraps from my Polaroids, and I just grabbed these and a paper clip, and this looks like a good one. We'll go with this one. And I cut it down so it didn't have the uneven edges. All right, and then we're going to take this and just fold it in half and put our paper clip right over top of that. All right, so this is the base for our hidden paper clip. I wanted to use these cards that I had picked up in one of my Ollie's hauls. This looked very much like a Sesame Street background. For the one we're doing, for the scraps that I'm going to use, I don't like how this looks. So we're going to use a different card base. So these are the scraps that we're going to go ahead and use. And so this one didn't look as nice with it because you kind of lose the green. And so I wanted to change out the card. But I don't know if you remember when I picked these up in my Ollie's haul for $1.99, and I'm trying to put them to good use. And so I had found one that I liked. I think it was in this other package. Yes. So this is the one that I like. I don't necessarily want to use this for it, but I like the backside. So I'm just going to cut this off. And I have been cutting these cards apart and using them for various projects. And so that's another idea for using a card, another way to use a card. And then this here, I'm going to go ahead and put down on here. But I think I want to keep the chalkboard section of it, so I think I'm going to cut the little edge off. Actually, I might tear the edge so I can ink it up. There's no wrong way to do this, however you prefer. But these are just scraps that I had left over from when I did the Polaroids. And so I wanted to figure out a use for these since I thought they were really cute. And I'm going to go ahead and use my ink and just do the edges. Now the words right here that I have are not even going to matter because I'm going to cover that up. But I wanted a little bit of the chalkboard showing. So this is going to go here. And I just wanted to show you another neat way for you to be able to use scraps from books. You would be surprised how many things you can do with the different scraps. All right, and I want some of this border showing. And then this here, I'm going to put right over top of the chalkboard where there's words. So I want to make sure that I get just a little bit of border with this. And I'm going to use my paper trimmer to do this portion. I'm not gluing this down yet because I'm folding this in half. Once I fold this in half, I'll know approximately where this sits and if I need to cut anything off or if I want to adjust it in any way. Because it's not going to fit perfectly on here without being... I'm just going to fold it over. I actually like how that looks. And so I'm going to ink this up. And then glue it down. And then I will go ahead and fold that again after I've glued this to make sure it has a nice crease. And I'm trying to use a good amount of adhesive on this just because it's a piece that's going to be handled a lot when it's in a journal. There we go. And I don't know where my bone folder is, so we're just going to go ahead and use the ruler, sort of like a bone folder, to make sure we get a nice crease on there. Okay. Then I wanted the tops of mine to have somewhat of a tag look at the top of them. And so I got my tag punch and just did each of these corners here. And then before I attach this, I'm going to go ahead and do an eyelet with my crocodile. And I'm just going to eyeball about where I think center is on this. All right. And then we're going to put an eyelet into it. And let's see, which one would look nice with this? A green or a blue? Maybe a red. Do I have a red? I do have a red right there. Let's use a red. And for the longest time, I did not use my crocodile for this because it was just an extra tool to have out. But I've been using it a lot lately. I would usually use just the hammer and the little tool. That very old school. But this is such a quick and easy way to do a lot of eyelets. And so then we're going to take our paper clip and it's going to sit right inside here. So I'm going to put adhesive on it. As much adhesive as I can get on it because I want it to have a nice strong hold. If you want to use something a little more heavy duty, the red line tape is great for this because you really want it to hold since it's going to be a piece that you're pulling in and out of your journal. And I'm just going to line it up pretty much center. And then I wanted to make a little topper for it. And so that's why I ended up using these beads and a safety pin. Again, I got these beads at Ollie's and I really love these. So the way I did this is these are from Hobby Lobby and they are called head pins. Now this is the packaging for my larger head pins, but these ones are a smaller one that I've been using. And I'm going to use my looper. All right. So I'm going to cut off the top portion of this and take my pliers and just kind of tighten it up a little bit. All right, so now we've got a loop here, and I'm going to put one of these pretty rainbow beads on and these little plastic acrylic blue beads. I'm going to put one of these on here and then just insert the pin. There's there's a little tiny hole right here. And so the pin goes right through that hole. And you want to go as close to the beads as possible. Squeeze, it will cut everything, and loop it. And that's all you have to do with the one-step looper. It's so easy. And then we're going to pick out a safety pin. I ordered these off of Amazon, and I've used so many, and it just seems like I haven't gone anywhere with them. So that's very encouraging that I can order that and have so many that last so long. I'm going to go with a red one. And so this is going to go in. We're going to do the beads first and then put this through here. Close it up. And there you go. That's all there is to it. I am going to look and see if I have a cute phrase that I can put on there, something school related. I haven't used a lot of the white phrases in here because the things that I have been doing with this has been more vintage. And so the black ones are perfect for vintage. And so I love these. All right, let's see what could be a good saying for a school thing. This is a schoolhouse, so let's see what would be a good saying. We're going to go with stay curious. Since it's a school one, we're just going to put this right down here. And if you want, you can ink it up a little bit. On my other one, I did not. I felt like it didn't need it, but on this one here, because the background is so light, I feel like it needs it. And so we'll just put that right down here under the schoolhouse. And there you have it, our finished hidden paper clip. And these can be made in whatever size you want. And then you just go ahead and attach it to your book or whatever project you're working on, just like a regular paper clip. So it's that easy. And I have just been taking the different books that I have that are paperback and going through and finding different things that I feel would be really cute, but they're not going to necessarily be made into something else. Let's see if there's any in here. Not this book. This one doesn't have a bunch of background pages in it. But things like this, you've got the table, and we might use Zoe, but this table might be left. So this might be something fun to add to a bookmark, or, you know, because you could do it sideways. It doesn't necessarily have to be up and down like this. The flowers in the mirror, that would be cute on a hidden paper clip. But these are all things that I'm most likely not going to use when I go to cut the images out. And so it's nice to be able to get something extra out of it. Like this right here, that could be a really cute hidden paper clip. And I also have another project to show you in another video where I used some of the page scraps that were just leftovers from when I made my Polaroids. And so, yeah, anyway. So I'm going to go through and make a bunch of these to include in my journal kits. And I'm excited to make these. They're a lot of fun. They're simple. They're just something to kind of keep me busy while I'm watching a movie or doing something else. And so not a hard project. Definitely look at your scraps and see what you have, because there's so many uses for the scraps that you have. Thank you so much for joining me. And until next time. Bye.